Hey folks, thanks for coming in a little early before we record tonight's episode. Look, we've been getting pretty good listening figures since season 2 started, but I feel like we really need to push ourselves to get over that next bump and really, grow the podcast. So I want to hear your ideas on how we could maybe do that. This is an open forum and a safe space. So remember, there are no stupid ideas, only stupid people.
We could invite another guest on.
Guests are always fun. Do you have anyone in mind?
A cat.
A cat.
My cat.
We could give away a car.
We don't have the budget.
We could give away your car.
We could create a meme.
Expand on that.
People like memes.
Great.
We could do an episode from outer space.
And how would we get there?
Uber XL.
We could do an episode from inner space.
You mean just like that Dennis Quaid movie?
Yeah, just like The Parent Trap.
We could pivot to become a true crime podcast.
What?
Fine, we could pivot to become an untrue crime podcast.
Start a beef with Mark Maron.
Start a beef with the Office ladies.
Start a beef with ourselves. I hate you, Neth.
We could become Spotify exclusive.
We become a MySpace exclusive.
We could become a scheduled radio broadcast on an AM transmitter.
These are all terrible.
Musical episode.
Clip show episode.
Animated episode.
Free hot dog with every download.
Free dog with every download.
Free downloads.
The show is already free and we're not giving anything away. Please stop pushing that.
Every 5th download summons Candyman.
Every 5th download installs spyware.
Every 5th download makes your phone explode.
We only cover movies directed by James Cameron.
We only cover movies starring Dove Cameron.
We only cover movies starring Kirk Cameron.
Please stop.
We do an episode in 3D.
Wait. Go on.
Everyone could wear those free glasses you get at the theater.
And we could just shove stuff through the screen of their device at random intervals.
And everyone will lap it up because who doesn't like getting poked by stuff?
I love it. We can charge people extra for the 3D version of the podcast, even though the content will be exactly the same. People will pay thousands to retrofit their devices with this technology, and because it's not just a gimmick, it'll last forever. I knew there was a reason I was keeping you guys on the payroll.
You don't pay us.
So, what movie that is not available in 3D would you like to see converted into a 3D movie?
Ordinary People.
Really? You want the 1980 Academy Award winning drama Ordinary People in 3D? Well,
no, but just imagine like all those intense scenes. Like it feels like you're crying there with them and you like want to give them a hug. Like the painful scenes will just be even more painful. Think of that emotional gravitas.
So you're literally looking to make the 3D experience more emotional. Damn, okay.
Yeah, wouldn't you cry more?
No, I mean, I don't really like Ordinary People, but, it's fine. It's okay. It's not, Raging Bull should have won that year, but whatever.
And it has like, if you want the things that are in your face, there's a whole like boat scene accident. Like, that's
God, yeah.
That's pretty like up there with, what's that movie? Jurassic World? Riveting.
For a boat accident, you went with Jurassic World and not, Titanic.
That's already in 3D, I think. Didn't they just re-release that in 3D?
I think they just did, yeah.
Oh, such a good movie.
I went to look up because I'm actually going to rely on you for this one, Neth. I went to look up if The Mummy has a 3D version, but was sidetracked when Google took me to, was there a mummy on the Titanic?
Was there?
I think there was.
There was not.
There was a rumor going around for a while.
There was. So it basically says if the story sounds too good to be true, it's because it is. So there is no records of the mummy being transported on the ship. However...
That's what they want you to believe.
Exactly. So who says that they couldn't have just snuck the mummy on the Titanic?
Oh my God.
And that's really what cursed it. I'm just saying.
Why have the Asylum not made a movie of that yet? Mummy on the Titanic. That just sounds amazing.
I kind of love the idea that it's the whole Jack and Rose lifting up on the bow of the boat or the nose of the boat, but it's the mummy and he's decomposing as he's trying to be king of the world.
His arm falls in the fucking Atlantic, yeah.
I mean, that would make a great horror movie. Somebody finds a sarcophagus at the bottom of the ocean and the Titanic wreck wreckage, and then it ends up
Yo.
coming to life and murdering people or something.
Maybe that's what James Cameron was looking for down there all this time. Maybe he knows something about that we don't.
Oh my god, James Cameron directs it and Brendan Fraser stars in it. I would die.
Nice.
I would love this. I will write this.
So wait, you're saying you want The Mummy in 3D?
Yes.
I mean, that works for, right? Like that movie has all the kind of prerequisite shit that a 3D movie needs. It's got people popping all over the place and scarab beetles running around. That shit would work in 3D.
I think she just wants Brendan Fraser in 3D.
Yes.
Megan, what do you want in 3D?
It's a toss-up between Back to the Future and car comes straight at you out of the screen.
Yes.
Nice.
And the original Ghostbusters. I was going to say the 2016 Ghostbusters, but apparently it was in 3D, and now...
It was in 3D because I saw it in 3D.
I saw it twice in theaters, so there is a reasonably good chance that I saw it in 3D and just do not fucking remember, so I don't know. I guess the 3D wasn't impressive enough for me to remember it.
It wasn't. It sucked.
Because I saw it with Brian in the theaters, so he tends to prefer to go for the 3D option if it's available, so we must have seen it in 3D if it was available in 3D. So now I'm like,
Also, you saw that movie twice in theaters. I'm sorry.
I like the movie, but I can't remember why I saw it twice. Brian fucking loved it.
Excellent dance sequences.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Paul Feig stan, but the original, I'm trying to think of how the original could be. The Marshmallow Man sequence would be really fucking awesome in 3D.
Yeah, that would look
figure out some way to make the Marshmallow Man
Slimer coming straight down the hallway to Venkman would look awesome in 3D.
Yeah, anything involving the proton beams or something. I don't know.
I realize what could take it next level is have you ever guys done 4D? So
Oh, with the chairs that move back and
40
forth?
chairs. There we go.
I've done that with Shrek.
Oh, you think the audience should get slimed? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm thinking that would be part of it. You get the whole
splatter section.
First you think it's 3D with the glasses, and then you get splattered, and then you touch your face, and oh no, this is real.
Yeah, fuck whatever that Afterlife movie is. I want an interactive Ghostbusters movie where people are getting slimed in the first several rows and
I mean, speaking of people getting slimed in the first few rows, you know what movie I want in 3D?
Resident Evil?
Evil Dead.
No.
Evil Dead is what I meant to say.
No. Boogie Nights.
Oh god. I thought you were going to say Greasy Strangler.
Yes!
Boogie Nights in 3D, and then right at the end when he flops out his cock, the audience would all just scream and it would be amazing.
Okay. You know how when 3D movies are all the rage, every trailer would have this family and be and shocked as the tire comes at them. Imagine if they used Boogie Nights for that to emphasize the best, why you need to go to the cinemas is because of Boogie Nights.
Because Mark Wahlberg's prosthetic cock is going to pop out of the screen right at you.
And the audience reaction is just and then intrigued, and then they lean in. I don't know.
Trying to poke at it, trying to reach for it.
Yeah, I realize now that 4D Boogie Nights would be too much. 3D maybe, 4D too much. I don't know what to expect.
There's people that are into bukkake. I mean,
oh god,
there's a market for that.
Megan, stop bringing up bukkake on this fucking podcast. That's the third time you've done it.
Spy Kids 3D.
I'm sorry.
We've already earned the little E on iTunes, and we've only been fucking recording for 5 minutes.
In for a penny, in for a pound. Now.
Well, exactly. Welcome to Bad with Numbers, a podcast where we talk about terrible sequels. I'm Neff, joined as always by Laura.
Hi.
Roddy.
Heyo.
And Megan.
Hey.
And this week on the show, we are talking about Spy Kids 3D Game Over from the year 2003, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Were you guys familiar with this franchise?
Yeah.
Not really.
I mean, yeah. I was familiar with the fact that you're my cousin would be oh, you need to see El Mariachi. Oh, you need to see Desperados. Oh, what's he doing next? Spy Kids.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. That's a pretty interesting pivot he made there.
Mm-hmm. This is my Jen's thing, and I remember I didn't actually connect it until I saw the glasses in the movie, but I remember going to Blockbuster and them having the 3D glasses on the counter that you had to buy separately. So I remember having those and thinking that it was so cool that I had the glasses that were in the movie.
Wait. So if you rented this movie at Blockbuster, you had to buy your own pair of glasses to watch it?
I think so. I was pretty young, so I could have been, but as far as I remember, it was an extra charge.
It might have just been special ones, because I know there have been 3D movies that I've gone to at the theater anyways, where they sell extra special 3D glasses at the concession stand instead of the disposable ones or whatever.
I have Iron Man ones.
So I'll date myself as usual by being old as fuck, but I remember working in a video store as a teenager, and Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare was available to rent, and it came with 4 pairs of 3D glasses, like the cardboard paper ones, just came with the rental, and they were just returned. When you returned it, they were not sanitized, they were not cleaned, they were just doled out to the next person renting the movie. And in 2021, that just seems like such a grim thought.
Going to that Blockbuster, it's like, why does everybody have pink eye?
Oh my god, yeah. Like this franchise, I definitely saw the first movie in theaters. I don't think I've ever seen the second one, but I also definitely saw this one in theaters. I remember taking my daughter to see it when she would have been maybe like 5 years old, and the only reason we went to watch it is because she wanted to go and see Pirates of the Caribbean, but it was sold out because it was around the same time, and so we just ended up going to watch this and then went and saw Pirates of the Caribbean like the next night or whatever.
I mean, this was the better movie.
Maybe in retrospect, sure, but definitely in the summer of 2003, everybody was on that Pirates of the Caribbean trip, right?
I was also. I went to a pirate convention, like festival, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
During that year, yeah.
Did they have like a plank that you could walk?
No, but it had a stand-up comedian, so that was kind of weird.
Wait, did he do R-rated comedy? Fucking stop listening now. Just turn this off. Just turn this shit off. Go and do something better with your time. Seriously, it's not going to get any funnier than that. Just fucking...
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Shall we do a little potted history on Robert Rodriguez, the director of this movie? Because his career is a pretty interesting one.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was born in 1968 in San Antonio, Texas. But in 1992, when he was 23 years old, he self-funded his debut feature, El Mariachi. And he raised the budget for it mostly by participating in medical trials for a clinic in Austin. I love that. That's great. Imagine funding a feature just by taking a bunch of random beta blockers and shit. That's insane. The film is shot in a small town near the Mexican border. It's basically a kind of crime stroke shoot 'em up action movie. And even though it only cost $7,000, and even though Rodriguez wrote and directed and DP'd and edited the whole thing himself, it still gets picked up by Columbia Pictures, who then spend $200,000 on post-production to clean it up for theatrical exhibition. So the whole like making a movie for $7,000 legend about Rodriguez is a little kind of fuzzy by the time you factor in all like the money that went into marketing and stuff. But the fact that he still shot a whole movie for $7,000 is kind of insane, even if it did look pretty bad until Columbia like threw a lot of money at it.
That would get you like a short film nowadays. Sure,
but it's this kind of notion that a lot of filmmakers tell you, like I've asked filmmakers in the past, would you recommend going to film school? And the answer has always been no. Take the money that you would spend on that and go and learn to shoot a fucking short feature and use it for your reel, right?
Yeah.
I'd be like, depends.
Regardless, anyway, the movie becomes a hit, or at least like scalable to its budget, it becomes a hit because it makes like $2 million from a really limited theatrical run, and then it does like untold amounts of business on VHS. Enough so that Columbia agreed to bankroll a sequel come remake of the movie for Rodriguez, and that movie turns out to be Desperado, which is a potential Good with Numbers episode because my memory of that film is it's kind of awesome. But I haven't seen it in about 20 years, so I may be really wrong on that. Desperado like establishes a long working relationship between Rodriguez and not only Antonio Banderas, but also Salma Hayek and Danny Trejo, who are also in Spy Kids 3D.
Machete.
And his frequent collaborator, Quentin Tarantino, who has a minor role in Desperado, but also wrote the script for Rodriguez's next movie, which was From Dusk Till Dawn. A movie that, again, I adored when I saw it in theaters when I was 15, watched it like religiously through the back half of the 90s. Don't think it holds up quite as well in this day and age. The front end of that movie is always way more enjoyable for me than all the silly vampire shit in the second half. But, you know, still a quotable movie. People still love that shit.
I can see what you're... I have to watch it back. I remember being a kid, though, and watching, what's it called? From Dusk to Dawn, and just being freaked the shit out of it. Because, like, that was quite gory.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of wish with From Dusk Till Dawn that they'd held off on the market. I remember the marketing for that movie. I really wish they'd, like, held off on the whole vampire reveal crucial, but all that shit was in the trailers. It was like, if you just sat down in that movie with no prior knowledge and like halfway through this kind of fairly sort of standard crime film becomes a film about a fucking bar full of vampires, that would have blown your mind in a movie theater. I don't know.
Wait, so then, like, I really wanted to know how he pivoted to Spy Kids, because you talked about like Desperado and like From Dusk Till Dawn, and it's such a turn that I'm so curious of like why that turn.
Roddy, I'll say this to you. Hold on to your butt, because you're about to find out.
All right, holding butt.
Next up, Rodriguez makes The Faculty, another movie that I loved at the time. Also holds up pretty well. Good script by Kevin Williamson, great soundtrack. That film has got an awesome fucking cast. You've got Elijah Wood, you've got Jordana Brewster, like pre-Fast and Furious. Josh Hartnett's in there, Clea Duvall, who I was like absolutely in love with when that movie came out. Mm-hmm. Anyway, by this point, like, Rodriguez is like a bankable genre director who like clearly doesn't shy away from having violence in his movies. So obviously the next thing he does is go and make a PG-rated kids film about tween spies, right?
Such a turn.
Yeah, it's a pivot, but there's a reason for it, right? Rodriguez told an interviewer at the time that somebody had come up to him and said, "My son loves Desperado." And Rodriguez was like, "Well, how old is your son?" And the guy says, "He's 6. And apparently that like bothered Rodriguez to the point where he didn't want kids being exposed to that amount of violence and gunplay in movies. So he opted to make a family-friendly action comedy that doesn't have any guns. You know, it's kind of like very kind of gadget-based sort of action in those films. So he makes this thing internally at his Troublemaker Studios production company. It ends up costing like $35 million, but it rakes in $150 million worldwide, and obviously fuels 3 sequels, the last of which came out in 2011.
2011? Even the Jessica Alba one?
No. That's 2011. That was the one that had Joel McHale and Jessica Alba in it, right?
Did he direct that too?
He did.
Wow. Okay. Should I watch that? I don't know.
I've never seen it. I couldn't tell you, man. Anyway, after that, Rodriguez is kind of like flitted between sort of extreme hard R movies. Stuff like Sin City, Machete were kind of his R-rated ventures. And he does like kids movies as well, right? He did The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, which I have never seen, and to be honest, don't want to.
So good.
That has like a cult following. I've never seen it.
Didn't he do, what was that Grindhouse film he did? Was Planet Terror? Was that him?
Yep.
Yeah.
The one where the woman has a gun leg?
Yeah, where Rosen McGowan's got the machine gun leg.
I didn't really like that movie.
I was gonna say, what I find fascinating is like Laura's reaction to say like Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Like, he has this capability, like with this Spy Kids movie and like that movie. Like, as like if you're an adult, you're like, oh, whatever. But then for some reason, he's able to tap into what makes kids go like, yeah, this is what I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, George Lopez's giant circle face. How can that not be like instantly just lodged in your memory canal forever? Like Taylor Lautner as Shark Boy was my little person. Yeah.
Is he?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did not know that about him. I thought Twilight was his first movie.
No, he made my tiny heart flutter. He was also in
When he was a wee puppy.
Cheaper by the Dozen 2.
Oh goddamn! I've seen that movie. That's a fucking episode.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, Rodriguez hasn't done anything as kind of cool as the stuff he was doing in the 90s recently, but he did make Alita Battle Angel, which I've seen like at least 4 times by this point. And I'm still enjoying that movie, but also looking at it now, I'm kind of like, these visuals are going to date real fucking quick. Like, pretty soon that movie is going to look out of date because it's all CGI, and this is the problem with CGI. Just a little before we do the box office, a little fun thing about Rodriguez. In 2015, he made a short film with John Malkovich called 100 Years, but as yet it's still unreleased. Do you know why?
It's too Malkovich-y. It's too much of him.
Malkovich.
Close, but not quite. It's because it's currently being held in a time-locked safe behind a case of bulletproof glass, and that safe isn't scheduled to open until November 2115, when you, me, and everyone listening to this podcast will be long, long dead as fuck.
Why?
I hope whoever beams that movie directly into their like cerebral cortex through Netflix's latest body implant enjoys it.
Is it a case of like it's a student film quality and no, it doesn't want to see the light of day?
No, I think it's like a time capsule kind of thing. It's like, we're going to shoot a movie in 2015. This is what a movie looked like in 2015, and you're not going to see it for 100 years. And then in 100 years' time, they're going to open it up, and I'm sure it'll play at like TIFF or fucking whatever underwater festival TIFF has become.
I don't know if I would do that. I've learned from every movie that if you find something that's 100 years old, if you open it, a mummy will chase after you.
Man.
So
Do
like,
you think Malkovich is playing a mummy in that one? Oh my god, maybe the mummy's on the fucking Titanic in that movie. Maybe that's what it is.
Ooh.
so it's like Titanic in the future. That little like case that they made for the time capsule finds himself on Titanic too, and then Malkovich, future grandchild opens it. No, that's too much futures. Future. There we go.
You think future? I'd say 3 futures.
Sure, I feel like 3 is gonna.
Malkovich is pretty fucking old as it is, man. So
Yeah, my grandkids will watch it, maybe.
yeah, maybe they might see it in their retirement home. Maybe.
Yeah,
Should we do the box office for Spy Kids 3D?
sure.
Money.
This movie opened on the 25th of July 2003. Opened at number 1, which is kind of surprising. Did 32.5 million on its opening weekend, on its way to 111 million domestic and 197 worldwide total. Damn, that's a lot of money.
It was in the day though, like when 3D was this pre-Avatar? I can't remember.
Oh god, yeah. No, this was still the whole red and blue cardboard glasses 3D.
Yep. 2003, man.
It was still a novelty. Like I remember, I didn't watch it in theaters, but I remember going to Blockbuster and specifically wanting to see how it is to have that shit fly at my face. But then it realized if you have like glasses and you have like maybe a stronger eye than the other, like it doesn't really work that well. So I had to rely on the visuals and the powerfulness of the story to get me through.
Did you get through?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how the fuck did you manage that?
Yeah, sure. I think I appreciated that if you were to beat out this plot, there's not even enough to like maybe fill a whole page.
Jesus.
And they somehow managed to make a film. Like in my head, I was like, oh, that's kind of impressive.
Well, we'll get to how they managed to make a fucking film out of that in a minute. But number 2 at the box office that weekend, we literally just spoke about it. It was Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yay.
In its 3rd weekend.
That's the second one, right?
No, that's the first one.
Yar.
Oh, sorry, that's the first one. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time. Yeah, I was fine at the time.
Orlando Bloom.
So long.
Based on a theme park ride. I mean,
Johnny Depp got a fucking Oscar nomination for that movie, for fuck's sake. Isn't that wild?
That's weird.
Yep. Number 3 that weekend, another movie we've talked about before, but have probably not going to be doing an episode on it. Bad Boys 2.
Yeah.
I remember it being okay.
Yeah, I think we've already agreed that it's kind of fine and that other better podcasts have done funnier episodes on it than we're probably ever going to muster, so let's just leave that one be. Number 4, another movie that we've talked about and we may be doing an episode on this yet, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life.
She punches his Jack in the face.
Does she?
Yeah, that one kind of flopped. That one kind of underperformed. I think they were expecting that one to be huge, and it kind of killed that franchise dead for a good 15 years.
It's because it was really boring.
Is it too boring to be an episode?
I don't know. I guess when you want an action movie, you want like this kinetic kind of like thrill ride. And I remember watching it in theaters and I was like, wow, this feels like it was like shot like really slow and they just kind of fast forward.
Okay.
I don't know. Like it wasn't as action packed, but then it really got by on like your love of Angelina Jolie and Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler, but yeah.
Gerard.
Gerald.
Gerald.
I'm Star.
Hello, Gerald.
Jerry
okay, no
Butler.
one kind of realized. I honestly thought it was Gerald for the longest time.
Nope.
I just assumed there was an L in it.
It's
That's my bad.
Gerard Crow Russell Butler. Number 5 that weekend, a movie I've never seen, but a lot of people love, Seabiscuit.
Okay.
Never seen it.
I have no response. It's like, in my head, I was like, it's the one with the
Yeah.
horse. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a horse.
Yeah.
And he runs real fast.
Toby
That's all I
Maguire's
know.
on the horse. I don't know,
Woo.
Oh shit, I forgot about him. All I think of is horse.
I never saw it. I don't know. Yeah, that was the box office for Spy Kids 3D's opening weekend. Let's get into this movie. First things first, and let's just fucking get rid of this elephant in the room. Watching 3D content and stuff that was designed to be screened in 3D, watching it in 2D always fucking sucks.
Yes.
It always sucks, right? And I felt that more than usual watching this movie because obviously this movie was was before Real D 3D became a thing in theaters, so it was still the Analgraph red and blue or red and green glasses, and it felt like it was trying so hard to remind you that this is 3D. Yeah. There are only like 3 good 3D movies in my book.
Intrigue. Go on.
Final Destination 5.
Okay.
Wasn't there one that literally marked itself as the 3D version? So it wasn't even the one that like pushed itself and marketed itself. I think that was the 4th one.
But the 4th one sucks as a movie, so regardless of whether the 3D is any good, I don't generally tend to watch that 4th one over and over again. I've seen Final Destination 5 a bunch of fucking times. Anyway, yeah, that.
I could see it working, yeah.
Monster House.
Okay.
And Dread. The 2011, 2012 Dread movie has awesome use of 3D in it. Anything else, I don't care.
No, yeah, I'm the same. Like, for me, like, again, like, because I have, like, glasses, like, they always never really work for me. And even now, I find the ones, like, the only reason I would watch 3D now, if it's like, oh, there's no other showing, I'd be like, fine, and I'll put it on. Because, it's not as fun to, like, have it, like, all of a sudden, the contrast and the colors all of a sudden become darker. And I'm like, oh, this is exciting. So all the hard work that the people done to grading the film is now like not even on the screen. Unlike Neth, who was like, oh, it's so weird watching 2D. That's not how Neth sounds. He sounds much more pleasant than that. But like
that's a pretty close approximation of how I sound. Yeah, didn't like that. That fucking sucks.
No, but like I kind of like get a kick. Like I guess when I was watching this movie, I realized what I was in store for. So like I had all of a sudden turn on this like flick in my brain that tries to appreciate the like the weirdness of it. Like there are scenes like you're like later on where like you can see they had a green screen, so they took like a stock footage of whatever else. So there'd be like it's all this chaos happening. But in the background, you see like 2 civilians just walking casually because it's stock footage or just like any background that they have to get.
They use a lot of stock footage in this movie.
So that's what it becomes. That it's more like the movie making magic of it and seeing like, all right, it's like almost like a game. Like, will they make this 3D? Oh, look, tongue sticking out of the at your face. I don't know, like the opening scene. Like, what do they have? Just like random square pixels flying at me. I was like, all right, let's do this. And let me tell you, when 3D does work, it somehow usually is with like the text and titles, and they do like that Superman like opening kind of scene thing, and like I for some reason it's like the frog tongues don't get me, the punching of like whatever like weapons they have at the screen don't get me. It's like the titles. Those are the ones that I feel like I can touch the most.
Superman in 3D would be awesome. The old Dick Donner films, fuck yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, that's my little spiel. I like text, guys. Ooh, font. Okay, we can go on.
All right, we know if we're gonna make you a 3D movie, it just has to be like a text-based movie. Then it's
just like that Star Wars scroll that's for a feature film length.
Oh my god!
It's just the script of Star Wars that just scrolls by for the longest time.
Oh my god!
Every now and again, a word will just randomly pop out of it. Just, This movie opens with basically what is Chinatown for teeny weenies, with this Junie kid, Junie Cortez, investigating some fucking corruption at a water park, and it is literally just a straight Chinatown reference. It's kind of funny the way that it does that. Yeah, absolutely. Almost verbatim dialogue as well. Did anybody notice who plays this girl that is asking him to investigate what's going on at the water park?
No.
Oh, it's Selena Gomez, right?
It is Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I had to look that up because somebody mentioned she was in there, and I was like, where?
Oh my gosh, she's so tiny.
Amazing.
Basically, the plot of this movie is that Junie wants the new video game called Game Over, and apparently the maker of the video game is going to use it to control the minds of all its players for reasons we never really get into. And the maker of said video game is a character called the Toy Maker, and played by Sylvester Stallone.
Does he make toys in this? Were there toys?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't make a single fucking toy.
I want to know what things he made in the past that constituted toys. That's what I'm a little concerned, a little curious about.
Also, we kind of skirted by this, but like when he was doing his detective work, he was really underselling himself. $4.99 to actually go out and do the investigation. That's like probably like 8 hours of work. So like he needs to, what's it called? Think of his finances more. I know this is a kid's film, but financial literacy at a young young age is very important.
Did any of you guys ever see Mystery Team? The fucking Donald Glover movie?
Yes. Oh my god. Yes, that's what it reminded me of.
Where they're child detectives.
That's what it reminded me of. It absolutely reminded me of that movie. Yeah, where they're child detectives that have grown up and like he doesn't realize that his friends are going to college and he's kind of stuck in this grade school mentality of like solving mysteries and stuff.
If you haven't seen Mystery Team, go watch Mystery Team. It's fucking great. It's so funny.
I really had fun with the opening scene. Like, and I kind of wish they played with like the genres a bit more.
If this movie had just been this kid running around doing gumshoe, and literally he gets gum on his shoes at one point, but if he was doing like gumshoe stuff and just being like a kind of fucking Philip Marlowe Jr. kind of character, I would have been all in on this movie.
Yes, I love it.
I would love to watch a kid detective movie. I mean, you know, we had a high school detective movie in Brick, so why can't we have like an elementary school detective movie as well, right? Anyway, yeah, some kid played by Emily Osment comes flying in his window. She flies in with her pigtails.
Gertie.
Oh, okay. You're going to have to fill me in if she's if these are characters from the second movie, because I never saw that second movie. She flies in and I don't know, her character looks like she's dubbed. Did anybody else get a weird vibe that her dialogue looked like it was being dubbed?
Honestly, probably.
Wasn't paying enough attention for that, I don't think.
Well, you know what? This was in the first 5 minutes, so I was still kind of focused. Don't worry, that went away. She drops in to provide the theme of the story, which is family is everything, and then she kind of just fucks off again, and that's all we see of her until the end of this film. And then Junie gets a call from the president, played by, oh my gosh, George Clooney. What are you doing in this movie?
Being George Clooney.
I totally forgot.
He's really good in From Dusk Till Dawn, so that's why he's got like the Rodriguez connection, right?
I think that's honestly really cool, though. Like the fact that, because the whole notion in this movie is family. All of a sudden, I have like flashbacks to like Fast and Furious. Family. He just owns that word. So like, if Spy Kids comes back and takes it back, I will kind of be excited for that. But like the fact that like this movie is based on family, but like if you look at his kind of real life, like in all his movies, he's managed to like make this found family with all the like bringing off like the actors and everyone from like El Mariachi to like again Dusk Till Dawn into this movie. So for some reason, I kind of find that cool, and I hope they wanted to participate in it because they're best friends and not because of like contractual obligations.
Yeah, sure. No, I think people find Rodriguez a fairly agreeable person to work with. He does tend to reuse a lot of the same people in his movies. So yeah, I mean, you know, I guess he's probably a fairly fun guy. I mean, his films look like they're pretty fun to make, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's just a shame that this one isn't as fun to watch. Look, there is so much fucking shitty green screen in this film.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like, we know this, that this is my pet peeve in movies, is bad green screen. And 90% of this film takes place in front of a green screen. My mind could not handle it.
It did not age well, and thank God. I always wonder if people can tell which movies I've suggested we watch, because this is definitely one of them where it's mindless. You kind of glaze over, but yeah, I did a lot of just staring at the background and realizing that these kids are just in an empty room.
Yeah,
there is nothing around them. They are doing their best, right? And you can fault them a little, but they're just kids. They're having a good time, and therefore I'm having a good time. Why not?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, I'm sure everybody had a whole fucking ton of fun making this movie, but at the same time, just because something's fun to make doesn't mean it's fun to watch, right? You know.
Yes.
Enter Salma Hayek playing some scientist lady, I guess. I don't know. I was kind of fuzzy on what the details were here. She's basically here just to drop some exposition and tell Junie that he needs to save his sister from the game that she is now trapped in, and that he has to shut it down. But while he's shutting it down, he can't release the toy maker because apparently it's bad if this guy gets out in the world. I don't know.
Yeah, this is at OSS headquarters. He has to go to OSS headquarters. By the way, have all these weird like hexagonal cubicles that are like just dozens of feet in the air with like no like those people could easily fall out of those things.
Yeah, this place is a health and safety nightmare.
It looks dangerous.
I kind of would love my office to be that, where you just sit in a lawn chair, and then you flip up your laptop when you're ready, and then you flip it down when you're not so ready. kind of reminds me of flip phones where you rage quit and just slam it shut.
I think everyone would love lawn chair office decor.
Yeah, there are kids logging into this video game and they can't log out. They're stuck. They're just staring at it.
Is that like the concept then, is that this is like a prison for these kids? Because I was really fuzzy on what the stakes were in this movie.
There were no stakes.
The stakes were that it's trapping children in a virtual reality, but the game hasn't fully gone online yet, so the kids that are trapped are just the beta testers.
Okay. But what happens when it does go online? All of these kids get trapped, and then what? Is he like using them as a fuel source?
He's going to brainwash them, because if you control the future generations...
Oh yeah, if you control the children, you control the future. Yes. Like the Whitney Houston song.
You both really got into it. At this point, I realized what was kind of how this movie works is that as soon as you start asking a question, something 3D will pop out to you and be like, oh, what was that? Never mind, and then you forget about what you were thinking. So it literally stops you from asking questions by bombarding you with something in your face. So it's great for people with low attention span. I was like, is that why I enjoyed it?
I have a terrible attention span. It didn't work for me.
Fair enough.
How weird must it have been for this kid to watch this movie in theaters when it premiered, or any of these people, because like it was so much of it was green screened. Like that's gotta be weird, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I think just in general, anytime, like, I don't know, for me, like in school when we had to do like a short film and for some reason decide to get the room that has the biggest screen, even seeing yourself on screen in that sense is the most awkwardest thing for me. So yeah, I would imagine seeing them on screen would be weird. But then if they're maybe narcissistic, they would enjoy it.
They're like acting kids, right? Acting kids love looking at themselves on screen.
Well, hopefully the 3D worked for them. That's all that matters.
Yeah, there's like so Junie's in the game and there's like a bunch of beta testers in there. I guess these are the ones that are already trapped, right? And like their leader is called Rez, and this kid goes, hi Rez. Oh, that's a good joke.
Cohen and I both groaned, and then I clapped.
Yeah, I kind of laughed at that one. Anyway, these beta testers boot Junie out to the moon because they don't want him around because they're determined to beat the game themselves.
You were talking about, I was like, oh, it distracts you. But this is the point where, like, I actually started trying to think if this was a commentary on gamers. I was like, they're such dicks. Is this a commentary?
Yeah, but online gaming didn't exist in 2003 in the way it does now. There was online games. You could play, like, Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast and whatnot, and I guess, like,
EverQuest,
Halo and stuff. Yeah, and EverQuest. But like compared to like the kind of the portrayal of video gamers now on things like fucking COD or whatever or Fortnite, I don't know. I just feel like maybe it was pretty ahead of the curve to be making that kind of commentary.
All right. That was not.
But no, you're right. Gamers are dicks, and I say that as a gamer. They are fucking dicks.
Competitive assholes. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They existed in 2003.
I was a dick with the people playing GoldenEye on the fucking N64 in the 90s, right? So, you know,
we all were.
Yeah.
Proximity mines
in the fucking facility level, in the fucking air vents, so that when somebody spawns in the air vent, they're fucked. That's the way to do it.
Yep.
I guess the reason why I asked it was, why is it commentary? Because all the time when Junie is like talking to them and like listening to them, I'm like, please, like, use your common sense. They're clearly dicks. Why do you keep on trusting them? Like so many times in this movie.
He's a kid. He's naive, right? But yeah, no, they are kind of dicks. Enter Ricardo Montalban as grandpa. You know, Junie gets to pick a list of people that he wants to go into the game from people he knows, and he has like a list of pros and cons, and I swear, what the fuck, when it says cons, I thought it said cons, and I thought that might have been a nice little joke, but I guess it's probably just the way Sylvester Stallone speaks made it sound like he was saying cons. I was really bummed out that Antonio Banderas and Carla Gugino are like barely in this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
They are all over that fucking poster. They are not in this film until the last 10 minutes.
I was almost convinced that Antonio Banderas wasn't even in the same room as any of them until he hugs his kid, and then I was like, oh shit, okay, so he was there, but they just cut him in so weird.
Yeah, they were there for a day of filming max, I reckon.
Yeah. Apparently not all those people were filmed at the same time. or in the same place.
See, that makes sense to me. It's weird.
Apparently Grandpa has like beef with this toy maker character, but you know, we can't spend any time on like developing that in any way because we've got to get to this giant robot fight between Junie and some girl called Demetra.
But like, don't you love how they get rid of the grandpa? Like, cause like they can't even be bothered. It's like, ooh, pretty butterfly. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, he just fucks off.
That's what's happening now.
He picks Grandpa, they make a big deal out of it, and then he just fucks off.
Yeah. He's kind of in and out of this movie a lot. It's bizarre.
Well, he's happy to have legs, so he's like, wee! He just like runs.
This fucking CGI robot fight, did this look good in 2003? I can't remember. What was the standard of CGI in 2003? That was like around the time that Ang Lee Hulk movie was out, right?
I think so.
Lord of the Rings was Fellowship. What year did Fellowship come out?
2001.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go.
So that means it should have been around Two Towers releases.
Because those trees look real.
Hell yeah, they did.
Well, I kind of bought into like because it's a video game. I was like, fine. Like if you look at video game graphics and like the CGI scenes, or what are those scenes called? Whatever, the CGI cutscenes. I was like, I felt like maybe they're on par with that.
But then we made fun of like Mummy Returns for having like a PlayStation 2 fucking cutscene. So
yeah,
you know,
that's different though. Okay, with this, I don't know why I'm all of a sudden getting heated. Like that's okay. No, with like Mummy Returns, that was like going like, this clearly doesn't look like a human. Oh well, this one is like, at least it kind of got the vibe of like cartoon video game antics and like stuck with it. They didn't try to pull off a realistic looking CGI version of Antonio Banderas, or like imagine if Sylvester Stallone was 3D in all of this. Like I don't know if I could take that.
I don't know, Roddy. I think what my complaint is that if you're going to have a giant CGI robots, you better make them look like real giant robots. Otherwise, I'm going to get fucking angry about it. Yeah, they have this fight, and oh man, then we cut to Stallone, and kind of my favorite thing about this movie is Sylvester Stallone and the fact that he's also playing like 3 additional characters here that are like meant to be his kind of like subconscious or something.
Weird.
I don't know. He's playing an Austrian military guy. He's playing some scientist and also a hippie. Oh, it's like expanding his id into like personable people. It's weird as fuck.
I guess they just didn't want him to be talking out loud to himself, like in a room by himself.
I mean, and look, he's having fun. God bless him. He's having fun in this movie.
Yep. Unlike some action heroes, Stallone can make fun of himself.
Can't imagine who the fuck you're talking about there. Anyway, they go off to play some fucking, what I thought was F-Zero for a minute here, or like some F-Zero knockoff, but it turns out that this kid's car can like throw a pie, so I guess it's more like Mario Kart, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking the whole way through this, I was thinking, this looks like an episode of Reboot.
It does.
It really does.
Reboot is great.
Reboot is great.
That is a compliment.
Yep.
Crossed with Tron or something, yeah.
Yeah. Look, this movie is like super bright and super colorful, but like I said, that doesn't mean that it's good, right? It's just like,
it's ugly.
I don't know. I guess for an 11-year-old, this movie probably rules, yeah? But
I was going to say, I remember it fondly, but I think that was because of different standards I might have had. You know, it just kind of fits with the setup that they had. I wouldn't say that Spy Kids 1 or 2 were, you know, necessarily exceptional.
Oscar winning?
Yeah. But it still felt like just enough that it kept my attention at the time for what, an hour and whatever minutes. I don't even remember now. It's all a blur.
I kind of have an issue that these action sequences do seem to go on a little bit too long. Like this race sequence felt like it went on forever. But that may also be because around about the point that they have this race, I kind of stopped the movie for a whole day. And went away and then came back to it a day later because I just had a headache.
Did you take a Tylenol? Advil?
No, I didn't. What I did was I smoked a joint and did some mushrooms and then came back and watched the second half.
Nice.
You know what makes 3D a lot better? Being on magic mushrooms when you're watching it, because shit's really popping out when you're watching it.
Yeah.
But like, to kind of go on that though, like, I don't know, after a while I was like, okay, clearly this is just kind of like set pieces and what can ever go in your face. So then there's a point where I just started analyzing the set pieces and I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. Like the robot scene had the thing where he ran around and like around the arena, and I thought that was kind of a unique way to play the fight. It wasn't like kind of a straight up box him, sock him. That's a fun. I love those things.
I'm a little frustrated with how much life that took off of her. Like, I didn't know being dizzy cost me 6 levels, but all right.
There's no logic to that life stuff, the health bar.
Like, she ended up with, she went from a level 9 at the beginning of that robot battle to, like, 3 lives left.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got a vibe from this movie that Robert Rodriguez maybe hasn't actually played that many video games because,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, this Junie kid comes across this health pack and he's like, what is that? And I'm like, fucking hell, kid, you're meant to be like a gamer and you don't know what a fucking health pack looks like? Come on.
Seriously.
You forgot the whole, like, about the prophecy. He's the guy, Neth.
Oh yeah, they believe he's the guy from the game's billboard, like this silhouette figure, and that's how they all end up following him, is because he kind of matches the shape of this figure.
No, but like it happened before the race scene where was it the race scene? No, it's after the race scene where he comes out. But like it's the whole thing where like coming back to my whole thing about thinking that there was like a bare minimum of beats and they see how much they can flesh it. Like the guy feels like such a placeholder for what the guy felt like kind of like, I don't know what we should call it. You know what? There's no other alternative. It's fine the way it is. Just call him the guy.
Yeah, just leave it. Or they've just forgot to update that page when they were doing a second pass on this script, maybe. I don't know. Also, this Dimitri kid, and I'm not being mean. Don't take it as I'm being mean about this kid, but when I was watching it, I was kind of like, is this kid meant to kind of look a little bit like Sylvester Stallone? She looks a bit like Stallone, okay? And I thought, oh, is this like a plot point? Did they cast Stallone's daughter because it turns out she's like a villain? I wasn't like 100% off, right? I was kind of like half right.
Yeah.
It does turn out that she is like a program and not a real kid. But when I was looking at her, I was kind of thinking, God, she actually looks a little bit like Stallone. Is this actually his daughter or something? Yeah, it's not. It's just me reading into shit, I guess. I don't know.
You were trying to...
She just has a piece of hair obnoxiously hanging in front of her face for the entire movie.
Nuts.
Yes. Like, move your hair.
Also, this Junie kid can't say Nintendo, and I thought it was like he couldn't say it, and then I realized that he's probably not allowed to say it because Nintendo are like super fussy about licensing stuff.
Yeah.
So he goes something like, he says like Atari, Sega,
Nintendo. Yeah.
It's just like, oh man.
Or the wizard.
Yeah. Okay, so like who's more obnoxious? The performances by the kids in this film, which, you know, they're kind of janky, but, you know, God bless them, they're trying. Or performances by like actual theater kids like Joseph Gordon-Levitt or Anne Hathaway. Which would you rather watch in a movie?
You don't like Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
It's not that I dislike him, I just always find his performances to be very kind of like, certainly when he was younger, they're very kind of like theater kids, you know?
I mean, I like Junie at the beginning of the film when he's playing like a hard-boiled detective because that kind of fits with his acting style. I feel like the way he's performing the character works not as good in the kind of virtual world that he's inhabiting, where he's surrounded by characters that are hamming it the fuck up or just chewing the scenery or whatever. But like he's not even, I don't know. Like I wish that he'd stayed in like his hard-boiled detective outfit when he was in the virtual world while he's surrounded by people in like these like little Mega Man outfits. Like
I would have loved if it was like some kind of detective thing and you're not actually the toy maker, it's this guy, and it's almost like
pulls off grandpa's mask and it reveals that it's him or something. It's like a real Scooby-Doo moment.
It's oh my gosh, exactly, that would have been fun.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been hard for these kids, right? Because acting on against green screen stuff and CGI stuff is hard. You're just like, it's a tennis ball on a stick, right? That's always the adage that when you're filming, they just give you like a point of reference to look at. And
I thought it was the acting, like for what it was. Like again, this is a movie that really is just showcasing 3D. So just taking that into consideration, like I thought the acting was fine. But like if you come down to it, though, like what is he supposed to act? Like what was his arc in this? Like what is he at the end of this movie coming out into the real world with? Like
okay.
the family, like
the family thing. Like he's estranged from his family at the start of the movie. He kind of feels like there's no unity in his family. That's why he's doing his own thing as a detective.
Oh, okay.
So I think he kind of does have an arc, I guess.
He only works with his family in like the last few minutes of the film. It's mostly about him and his sister.
Yeah, we're clutching at straws here to justify this, but come on. It's a fucking kids film. We can't be too mean about it because it's for kids.
There are good kids film. Like this is on its own level of just entertaining. Like there's a lot of like kids film that like to this day like an adult will cry about it because of the memories of that film.
Sure.
Atreyu.
God, don't get me started. You know what? Never Ending Story 2 and 3 fucking might be episodes.
Oh,
I
boy.
guess we'll find out sooner or
I've
later.
actually seen the second one a long time ago.
Okay, so going back to what we were talking about the stakes. Like, they keep talking about how when they run out of lives, they get evacuated from the game.
Forever.
But, like, what does that actually mean? What are the consequences of that? Do they die?
No.
Do they enter some kind of, like, vegetative state? Do they, like, get grounded by their parents?
Because they already said earlier that the kids couldn't leave the game. So what does that mean for him? Like, they figured out a way to get him out of the game, but not the other kids.
This is it. I don't understand what happens when they lose their lives.
Basically, what happens is that they are banned and they cannot re-enter. So the other kids, they don't really have stakes, but what Junie's stakes is that if he dies, he can't go back in to get Carmen.
Okay.
You know what? Just sign up with a different fucking email address. I used to do that shit on Battlefield 4 all the time.
Let me just take out my eyes and then just, get somebody else's. But with the one kid, the strong one, Arnold, he was talking about how he wanted to beat the game so that he could get a large amount of money for his family.
Yes.
Oh, so there's like cash prizes for this thing? Or...
So then if you...
For the players, yes.
Yeah.
But if he's a beta tester, would he even be eligible for the money?
No, of course he wouldn't, because he knows all the back doors through the game, right?
I feel like that would be a conflict of interest.
Something about he signed up with a visa or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, yeah, if I win, there's supposed to be a bunch of,
That's something, I guess, but I still don't understand like what the consequences here really are.
I feel like they were intentionally vague, though, because it's a family film.
Yeah. Mind control of these children who are all going to stay hooked into the game permanently. It's a prequel to The Matrix.
Ooh.
Stallone is the AI that takes over the world.
And that's the stakes for the overall movie, but I'm talking about like the individual stakes for these characters is if they die, they just seem to get booted out of the game. I mean, that's kind of okay, fine.
Maybe. Yeah, it doesn't really. I'm guessing somebody had it originally in the script that it's like if they die in the game, they die in real life, and then like I guess the producers were like, no,
You turn that into an anime.
bad idea. Children's movie.
We get a literal floor is lava sequence here, which is kind of cool, and they like surf on the lava, which is kind of nice. And then Salma Hayek decides that she's just going to kill these kids in the game with a big lava monster because she can't risk letting the toy maker out. But also, like, Junie has already saved his sister, so again, I'm not really seeing what the problem is here. I don't know.
When that happened, I was like, is that how she's going to save the sister? Literally, he's going to be like, you're free. Like, what? That doesn't make... You're supposed to be villainous. Makes no sense.
I mean, look, we tried to get hold of a copy of this in 3D, and I know, like, Megan, you ordered a 3D copy on was it Blu-ray or...
No, it's just a DVD from eBay.
Yeah, and, like, we figure out that, like, what was the shipping time? It was, like, 3 weeks or something?
I think it estimated the shipping time was, like, 14 to 25 days, and it's shipping from another town in Ontario.
Yeah, and we worked it out that, like, literally it's a 3-day walk from here. Like, they could walk that fucking DVD here in that amount of time.
Like a 4-hour drive from here or something. Probably not even that.
Crazy. But anyway, we couldn't get hold of it in 3D, so we all had to watch this in 2D. So you know what? Maybe watching it, and I definitely did see it in 3D in theaters, but maybe watching it in 3D really does add another dimension to this film. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'll watch it again when I get the DVD because I mean I wasted $10 on it, so
why not?
Damn. Here comes Elijah Wood, last seen in our Back to the Future Part 2 episode, playing the guy, the fabled The Guy. He looks like a giant in this film. Do you reckon they did that like deliberately because he was just coming off the back of all those Lord of the Rings movies?
Probably.
He looked like a child to me. He looked younger than like some...
Literally, my note, dude, is he still looks 12 years old. I mean, he's in his 20s when he's filming this, but he's got such a baby face that he still looks like a 12-year-old.
He's adorable.
Anyway, he's the fabled The Guy, and he's meant to basically lead them into level 5, and the moment they get to level 5, he gets wiped out like a big old dork.
So
it's kind of funny.
I have to admit that was funny.
He gets fucking Samuel L. Jackson in Deep Blue Sea. He basically just fucking buys it straight away.
When I was a kid, I was so frustrated because I was really excited. I had gotten into the Lord of the Rings franchise and everything. So when I heard Elijah Wood was in it, I was like, this is going to be the best movie ever. He's the guy. And then he fucking shows up and I was so hyped. and he dies. And I remember just sitting there for a while in my feelings, and I don't remember most of like the ending to that movie. It felt like I watched it for the first time because clearly my brain stopped processing it after Elijah Wood died. It was heartbreaking.
It's a pretty good punchline.
It's so good.
It's an old gag, but it's a good one.
Yeah,
Demetra shows up again, and Junie's sister is like, she's not real, and I'm like, yeah, I've had girlfriends like that before as well. Like you can't just swipe your hand through a computer program like that, kid. Keep your hands to yourself. That's just not on the way he just starts like poking at her. Ricardo Montalban kind of sucks in this movie. I'm sorry. I know it sounds mean, but he's kind of, I don't know. There was just something about his performance that felt a bit off for me. I don't know.
I don't know if he's acting against the kid in actuality, or if he's just saying his lines and then, like, I don't know if they were both filmed in the same room. That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
I will say, though, Ricardo Montalban, like, this is one of his last on-screen appearances. He aged really gracefully. Damn.
Oh, yeah. He looks great.
Damn.
Yeah.
Still sexy, even as an old dude.
Also, I realized at this point in the movie that the other guy with Salma Hayek in the control room that's watching them is Mike Judge.
Yes.
Of Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill fame. I was like, I didn't realize up until this point. And then every time he spoke after that, I just heard him saying it in a Hank Hill voice.
Yeah.
We're going to get the kids out of the game.
Yeah, because I saw him listed on the cast list. I was like, wait, that Mike Judge?
Yeah, it is.
Weird. He must have been friends with the director or something.
I guess. Also, Clooney turns back up and does like an impression of Stallone for a split second, which is kind of funny. He's trying to do Sylvester Stallone like that, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then he turns into Stallone, and it turns out like Stallone has been fucking rigging this whole thing the whole time. I don't know. I kind of tapped out by the time this movie got to its climax.
Well, I mean, hey, family shows up, and it's cool, and we get to finally see the parents, Antonio Banderas and all them.
Yeah, they shut down the game, and the toy maker somehow escapes regardless, and he's got
even though he did a bunch of shit. I don't know. Stupid.
Yeah, he's got like giant robots that are now attacking stock footage of, I don't know, I'm going to say Austin. I don't know where this is meant to be, but I'm assuming it's like Austin. And then we get like this call to all of their family members to come and help, which is kind of the only bit of the movie where my interest kind of perked up. Because we get like Cheech Marin here for a start, which is great. Is he going to do like a PG-friendly version of the pussy speech from Dusk Till Dawn? No, I guess not. We get Danny Trejo here playing Machete, might I add. Which... This was 4 years before Grindhouse, when they had that fake Machete trailer in Grindhouse that then spun off into 2 Machete movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like, I didn't realize the origin of that Machete character is actually from fucking Spy Kids, which is kind of crazy.
I love it.
Alan Cumming and Tony Shalhoub show up as well with like an army of robot kids for some fucking reason. I seem to remember Alan Cumming being in the first movie, right? I think he's like the bad guy in that.
Yes.
As someone that has no recollection of both the first 2 movies, I was like, I'm not enjoying this as much as I'm supposed to if I were to actually have watched those 2. Because it felt like it was like, this is the end of a trilogy and we're bringing your fan favorites. And I was like, I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I mean, fucking Bill Paxton shows up as a cowboy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
yeah.
Sad to see Bill Paxton.
Too.
I was like, R.I.P. I miss him so much. He's great. Steve Buscemi drops in on a flying pig, and at this point, I really thought my mushrooms had properly kicked in because I was like, fucking hell. There's a flying pig with Steve Buscemi on it. Amazing. But no, that's apparently really in the fucking movie.
It is.
And then Grandpa volunteers to shut down the toy maker's last giant CGI robot. And this Junie kid is like, Grandpa, no. And Carla Gugino is kind of like, he has to let him go. But then what we don't actually see is under her breath, she's like, his care home is really expensive anyway. And we could have like a second and third vacation every year if we just let this play out. Oof.
Oh my God.
And then they shut down this robot and they all fucking put their hands in and say what we already knew from the start of the movie, that family is everything, right? And that's kind of the end of the movie, apart from those 3D credits. You know what I don't need fucking blasted at me in 3D at the end of a movie? The words Harvey Weinstein. You can keep it, thanks.
Oof.
Shall we do, and we haven't done one in a while, shall we do a quiz?
Oh.
Sure.
Yes.
I'll say the title of a game. I want you to tell me from where it came. Get it right, you'll get a point. Get it wrong, error.
Awesome.
All right, I don't have a title for this quiz, but basically the gist is I'm going to give you the name of a fake video game from a movie, and I want you to tell me what movie it's from. And if you don't know, I want you to fucking guess.
This feels like a very threatening quiz.
Fucking guess.
Well, you know what happens? You're going to get evacuated from the podcast if you don't get it right.
Really?
You're going to lose all your lives, and I don't know.
Monty Python style. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Are you guys ready to play?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not, just say, and we'll go do something else.
I've suddenly forgotten every movie I've ever watched, so thanks for bringing that up again.
So a caveat on this is it was pretty hard to find fake games from movies, so a few of these are from TV shows as well. So that might help your mind a little.
Nope, I've never got TV too. Thanks.
I guess we'll find out how we do. All right, Megan, you're up first.
Okay.
What movie features a video game called Transcendence? And I'll give you a clue. The C is capitalized and it ends in a Z or a Z, and that is also capitalized.
I have no idea.
All right, I'll give you another clue. It's a Canadian movie.
Ooh. I don't know why I said it like that. Ooh. No. How should it be for Canadian film?
Ooh, eh?
It's not. I mean, I'm sure it's. I don't know. I don't know.
Transcendence. It sounds a lot like the title of the movie. Well, kind of, the way it's pronounced.
Why am I talking like robot all of a sudden?
Yeah, it's not your go.
Do it.
Unless you want to buzz in, Roddy, if you know.
Buzz.
Okay, Roddy buzzed in. Roddy, you want to take a guess?
Existence?
It is Existence.
Existence.
There you go. Roddy gets Megan's point. Okay, fine. You know what? If you don't know the answer, other people can just buzz in now. We just changed the rules. Fuck it. Who cares?
Yo, Existence is like a wild film. I still remember being creeped out by the game controller. I don't think I could ever play a flesh-looking...
Oh my god, I would get an Existence port in my body in a fucking heartbeat. That would be amazing.
Actually, should I get infected? Oh.
Anything to get me out of this fucking reality. Roddy, you're up next.
All right.
What movie or TV show features a game called Bone Storm?
Oh, Bone Storm. I feel like it'd be like South Park, maybe?
Oh, you're so close, but I'm afraid that's not right. Megan's buzzing. Megan.
Payback.
The Simpsons.
Megan wins back that point from Roddy. It is The Simpsons.
Bone Stormer, go to hell.
It's the game that Bart steals.
Amazing.
Please tell. I know that episode. He got golf
Thrill
instead.
how.
Well, you stole her point and she stole yours. So
It all works out.
It kind of balances out in the end.
That was such a good scene.
Laura, what movie or TV show features a game called Roy? A Life Well Lived.
Huh. I have no idea.
Buzz.
Yeah, go.
Roddy with a buzz.
Rick and Morty.
It is from Rick and Morty.
Oh,
It's when
Yes, I thought it sounded familiar.
it's from the Jerry Daycare episode when they're
Yes,
playing the Royal
yes.
Life Well Lived game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's getting off
Jerry
the grid.
Daycare.
Here's a social insurance number. Great.
Doesn't he like become like a fucking carpet
He
salesman or
does.
something?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Megan, you're up next.
Okay.
What movie or TV show features a game called Sugar Rush?
Oh, that would be
Laura.
The one I the only one I know.
Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes, it's from Wreck-It Ralph. It's the karting game that Sarah Silverman's character plays.
Yep.
Good movie about video games.
Roddy,
Yes, sir.
what movie And I'm just to help you out a little. Clues in the title. What movie features a video game called Wrestle Jam 88?
Wrestle Jam 88? This is my thinking sounds. Wrestle Jam? Ugh, I don't even know. Because I don't know. I just want to, like, give a call out and say Mamma Mia too.
Wrestle Jam 88? 88?
You gotta have to do something with wrestle, I'd imagine, because it's not Space Jam.
Yeah, you'd have thought maybe it would be something to do with wrestle. Is there any movie you can think of? Anybody want to buzz in? Any movie that might have the word wrestle as part of its title?
The Wrestler, that one with...
You don't get a fucking go because you already said Mamma Mia.
Buzz,
Touchy.
Laura.
the wrestler.
Laura gets the point. That is correct. It's from Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler. There's a scene where Mickey Rourke is playing some NES-style wrestling game that features his character as a playable character in the game.
It was worth it.
That's right.
That one went to you, Meryl Streep, if you're listening.
Laura, your turn.
Oh no.
Where would you find Oasis?
Why does that sound familiar?
Oh no.
In a juice like aisle in the grocery store?
Well, you would, but that's not what we're talking about here.
Okay.
They made a game?
Oh, I think Megan knows. She can buzz in.
I know what it is.
Okay, Megan, buzz in.
Buzz. It's fucking Ready Player One.
It is, and also, may I add that you have to refer to it as fucking Ready Player One whenever it gets brought up on this podcast.
Fucking Ready Player One.
Fucking Ready Player One.
Hate it.
Film sucks so badly. I've totally lost count of who's in the lead, so we're just going to do this last round for
we
fun.
do this all the time.
Yeah, I feel like I should maybe make a note, but I get too excited. I get too into my quiz host fucking capabilities.
Well,
and
now
I
that
just
we're
lose track.
stealing points from each other, it's all...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all to
over.
play for still. Megan, what movie or film, and this is a tough one maybe, would you find a game called Demonic?
Sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't...
It's a comedy
know.
movie. And I mean, some people might say it's not a comedy. I think it's kind of funny, but it's a comedy movie about video game developers.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, anybody want to buzz in?
Say movie or TV?
It's a movie.
Demonic?
Yeah, maybe this one's just too obscure.
And there's comedy.
Neth, do you want to buzz in?
I'll buzz in. I'll buzz in and tell you that the answer is actually the movie Grandma's Boy, the fucking Happy Madison comedy that maybe like 6 people have seen.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've never
they're
seen
developing a video game called Demonic in that movie.
Well, congratulations on your point there, Neth.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Thanks for playing.
Roddy, in which movie, and this is a fake game, not a real game, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
Has all the other ones been real?
Doom, the arcade game.
Wait, what? I don't get this question because there's a movie called Doom.
So there's a movie where somebody is playing an arcade cabinet of Doom, but Doom was never an arcade cabinet. It was mocked up specifically for use in this film.
Whoa.
And when I saw this movie in theaters, I turned, because I went to see this with my mum, I turned to her and said, that's not a real game. And you know what she said to me? She looked at me with the loving eyes of a mother looking at a son. She said, shut the fuck up. And carried on watching the movie.
Because it's in the theaters and people are watching. That makes sense.
Except in more of a Scottish accent.
Sure. She said it, she said, shut the fuck up. But anyway.
You would do the
Thank
same
you.
to any one of us.
Probably. Roddy, what movie features Doom, the arcade game?
I don't know, so I'm just going to say Big.
No, afraid not.
Bit early for Big.
Oh.
Anybody else want to have a guess? No, you're not going to get it. I made this one deliberately hard. It is featured in the movie Grosse Point Blank.
Oh.
In the convenience store, there's a Doom arcade game before it gets blown up.
Ooh.
How old were you watching Grosse Point Blank with your mom? How old? The Grosse Point Blank is like bang, bang, bang.
I was fucking 17 when that movie came out.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you were like a child, like the child who was watching El Mariachi.
Mm-hmm.
No, but my mum also took me to see Schindler's List when I was like 13 as well. So, go figure.
That's old enough.
Not in the UK, it wasn't. Because that movie was like 15. Anyway, Laura, this is the last one.
Okay.
You might get this one. Again, the clue's kind of in the title. What movie or TV show features a game called Burger Boss?
Bob's Burger?
That is correct.
Yay!
I actually earned one.
That was our fucking quiz.
The winner is Neth.
on video games. I feel like nobody was the winner in this one. I feel like, especially you, dear listener, were the loser in this one, but never mind. All right, Spy Kids 3D. Would you guys recommend this movie?
Yes, for all of the 3D action and color. Carla. How do you? Carla. Yeah.
Oh my god, are you okay, Roddy?
Yeah, man. What the fuck?
I don't know. I felt for some reason I needed to be like yes. But then as I tried to defend it, I come up rooting. It's just me realizing no, you can't actually recommend this movie at all. Because of Carla Gugino? Hey, that's a solid reason.
She's in the movie for like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Worth it.
those are some good minutes,
I guess. Laura, would you recommend this?
I would if you have the 3 weeks to spare and can get a DVD copy with the 3D glasses and everything. Because realistically, the only thing that this movie for me has going for it is the nostalgia. Without it, it's fine, but it's gross to look at, so I wouldn't.
Okay. Megan?
I mean, we'll see how I feel after I watch it in 3D, if that ever happens. But, it's like a theme park ride, right? I guess it would appeal to kids if they're watching it in 3D. But other than that, I mean, it was made in 2003. I don't know if it holds up for kids now. Maybe it does. I don't know.
We should go find a child and make them watch Spy Kids 3D and ask them what they think.
Yes, I'll as soon as I get my 3D glasses, I'll stick them on my infant, park him in front of the television.
Sure, why not?
See how that goes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm an adult. I feel like I can't objectively judge this film.
Yeah, that's my take on it as well. This movie, I would recommend it if you're 11, but watching this as an adult, I don't know, it just gave me a headache. Mm-hmm. I was just like, there's so much green screen, so much shonky CGI. Mm-hmm. I get what Rodriguez was trying to do with this movie. He wanted to try and I guess this movie did kind of almost sort of kickstart the whole revival of 3D. Mm-hmm. It was a few years later until we got stuff like Monster House and Beowulf and My Bloody Valentine all started spilling out using Real D technology, which was actually pretty good 3D really. Mm-hmm. But just as an adult, this movie just kind of dragged a little bit for me. Stallone's fine in it. I think Stallone's funny. Other than that, there isn't really much going on here. But hey ho, that was our episodes on Spy Kids 3D Game Over, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Next week on the show,
whoever's doing this is gonna come after you again. Trust me.
It's just an urban legend.
Urban legend, my ass.
You ever hear the urban legend about the guy who picks up the dead hitchhiker?
Urban Legends Final Cut.
Kind of feel like we might have to play a drinking game where anytime somebody says the word urban legend or the words urban legend, we take a shot.
Yeah.
Kind of feel like we might be paralytic halfway through next week's episode.
Is that the second one or the third one? I can't remember.
It's the second one. I think the third one is called Bloody Mary, I think.
Correct.
I don't know. I haven't seen this movie yet. It has a reputation. I guess we're going to find out.
Why would the second one be called The Final Cut? It makes it sound like it's the end of a series or something. That's weird. Anyway.
I'm sure we'll find out next week why it's called Final Cut. Until then, you can find us on Twitter at Bad Numbers Pod. We are on Instagram, Bad Numbers Podcast. You can email the show, bwnpod@gmail.com. We're on YouTube as well. Why not look us up there? We have been Bad with Numbers from Toronto, Canada. Thank you very much for listening. Stay safe out there. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.